Hi all, welcome to Easy Way to Automation. So today we are going to see one more important topic, that is how can we perform localization testing using Selenium. So first we should know what is localization testing, right? So what is localization testing? So localization testing, or we can say L10N testing, right? It's because if you see there are 10 letters in between L and N. Okay, so that is the reason sometimes it is called as L10N testing. So what is localization testing? Localization testing is making required changes to the software of a particular region to suit natural, cultural and linguistic requirements of that region. Okay, so localization testing is nothing but making required changes to the software of a particular region to suit natural, cultural and linguistic requirements of that region. For example, let's go to Google page. Okay, so if you see, we have something called as French also, right? So if a person who knows only French, he doesn't have any idea about English, and he wants to use Google application, then he should be able to access it, right? So if you click on French, if you see, like, you can see all the contents in French language, right? Now user can search whatever he wants, right? And if a English user comes, all he has to do is he has to click on English and he can search in English. Okay, so this is something called as localization testing. Okay, so if you see, like, in terms of manual testing, we got to know, okay, what is localization testing, but how can we perform localization testing using Selenium? Suppose you have an application under test, okay, and that supports English, French, Russian, all these languages. Okay, so how can you perform localization testing? Because sometimes you have to execute your automation test scripts against English language. Sometimes you have to execute your automation test scripts against French language, right? So how can we do that? Okay, so for that, what I can do is I'll go to Eclipse. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I will switch to a new workspace. So I'll create one more workspace over here. I'll name it as workspace 1. Okay, so I'll choose this one, workspace 1, and launch it. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go to workbench. Okay, and we can create a new project. Okay, so basically what I will do, I'll hide this one. Okay, so we will create a Maven project. Okay, so I'll go to new and I'll go to other. So I'll choose Maven. Okay, I'll click here, Maven project, click on next. We have seen this before, right? How can we create a Maven project? I'll click here, create a simple project, click on next, and I'll give group ID like com.maven.localization. Okay, and artifact ID I can give localization test. Okay, localization test. Okay, so just click on finish. So once you click on finish, it will create a Maven project for you. So if you see, it is now creating, right? and if you expand this, you'll find something called as pom.xml file, right? So now what is the next step? We have to add the dependencies. Okay, so the first dependency is like Selenium Java dependency, right? So let's search for it, Selenium Java dependency. Okay, so we have to go here, Maven repository, and from here I will choose this one 4.8.3, and this one is the latest. So what I can do here is I'll copy this dependency and paste it in the pom.xml file. Okay, so before I paste, what I will do, I'll write something called as dependencies. Okay, and I'll paste it over here after this. Okay, so one is Selenium Java, another one is TestNG, because here we are going to implement TestNG framework. So that is the built-in framework available for Java language, right? So I'll search for TestNG. Okay, and I'll take 7.5. Okay, because I found this one is stable, more stable. So I'll go for this one, 7.5. So let's take this one. I'll copy and paste it in the pom.xml file. Okay. So once I save it, what it will do, like it will start downloading the libraries, right? And those libraries will automatically be configured in your project, right? So if you see now it is building, right? So once it is successful, you will be able to see all your libraries. Yeah, if you expand this Maven dependencies, you can see like all the libraries have already been downloaded. Okay. So now what is the next step? Okay. So basically what I can do is I'll create one package inside src main Java. Okay. So let's create one package. So basically we are going to what we can do is we are going to follow page object model. So that what I can do is I'll create one package like this. So I'll name it as com.localization. Okay, com.localization.pages. Okay, com.localization.pages. Okay, and I'll create one more package. I'll name it as com.localization. Okay, dot utilities. Okay, so all the support class files, okay, I will write it under this package. Okay, so I'll create one class file and I'll name it as browser factory. Okay, browser factory. So I'll just click on finish. So we are doing from the scratch so that you will be able to understand. Okay, so what I will do here is I'll create one method like public WebDriver create driver instance. Okay, create driver instance, and here I'll pass one parameter browser type. Okay, so WebDriver is an interface and we have to import this, right? So once I'll import this WebDriver. So the Selenium Java library, right? So we are getting this option and you can import this WebDriver interface. Okay, so I'll write something like this. So if browser type dot equals, or you can write like this, browser type dot to uppercase dot equals if it is Chrome. Okay, so what it is going to do, so basically we'll write something like this, Chrome options Chrome opt is equal to new Chrome options. Okay, and here I'll write like this. So first what we have to do is we have to import this Chrome options class. Okay, so once you are done with that, you can write Chrome opt. Okay, so this is the reference variable of Chrome options class. Chrome opt dot add arguments. Okay, so you must be knowing this. This is for like to fix the issue which comes with version 111, right? Chrome version. So I'll just write like this, hyphen hyphen remote allow origins is equal to star. Okay. So after that I'll just write Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So just because we are using the latest Selenium Java library, so you don't have to write like system.setProperty, okay, where you have to give the path of your Chrome driver. Okay, so automatically it will be taken care, so you don't have to take that much pain. Okay, so just import this class Chrome driver, and we have to pass this Chrome opt here. Okay, so similarly what we can do here is, so before that what I can do here, I'll just write WebDriver driver is equal to null. Okay, so let's make it a class variable. Okay, WebDriver driver is equal to null. Okay, so after that I'll write else if browser type to uppercase dot equals. Okay, if I write here a message, okay, then what it will do? So I'll just write here aids options, aids opt is equal to new aids options. Okay, I'll import this class as well, aids options. After that I'll write driver is equal to new aids driver. Okay, driver is equal to new aids driver, and I'll import this one, aids driver class. Okay, so we are done. So after that it is expecting one WebDriver type, okay, one variable of WebDriver type to be returned. Okay, so we can return our driver. Okay, so after this just write return driver. Okay, that's it. You can pass this age opt over here. Okay, so we are done with one class file. Okay, so now after that I'll create one more class file, and I'll name it as driver factory. Okay, driver factory. So here what we can do is I'll write public static thread local WebDriver thread local is equal to new thread local WebDriver. New thread local WebDriver. Okay, so we are using thread local so that we can do parallel testing as well. Okay, so I'll import this WebDriver interface. I'll create one method over here like public void set driver. Okay, set driver. Okay, and here we can write this one, right? Thread local. We can write thread local dot set. Okay, so it is expecting one WebDriver, and WebDriver from where we can get it? We can get it from browser factory. Okay, so we can call this method create driver instance. So what I will do is I'll make it as static. Okay, static, and this one also I'll make it as public static. Okay, so here I can write browser factory dot create driver instance. Okay, and here I'll pass browser type. Okay, browser type, and here I'll write string browser type. Okay, and the value of browser we can get it from the testng.xml file, so we can parameterize it. Okay, so we can parameterize it. So I'll just write here at the rate before method. First of all, I'll write at the rate before method. Okay, so that this particular method will be executed before executing each and every test method. Okay, and prior to this, I'll just write parameters. Okay, so if you want to know more about test engine annotations, so I have created a separate video for that. You can go and watch it. Okay, and here I'll just write browser. Okay, so these are the annotations, and we have to import this. Okay, so if you mouse over, you will get the import option. Okay, we can do one thing. We will go to pom.xml file. See, we have written inside src main Java. Okay, but here actually we have given scope for test. Okay, so we have to remove it. So just remove it and save it. Okay, so now if you do mouse over, you will get the option to import. Okay, we have got it before method and parameters. So take this one. Okay, org.testng.annotations. Right? So I'll create one more method. See, now we have set the driver, but we have to create one more method for getting that driver. Okay, so I'll just write here public static void get driver. Okay, so how can we get it? So I'll just write here thread local dot get. That's it, thread local dot get. Okay, so there will be one more method, public void close driver. Okay, so after executing a test method, I want my driver to be closed or my browser to be closed. So that what I will do, I'll create one annotation like at the rate after method. Okay, so I have to give this annotation so that this particular method will be executed after executing each and every test method. Okay, so I'll import this annotation which comes from org.stng.annotations. Okay, so I'll give one condition over here. If get driver, okay, is not equal to null, then what it will do, get driver dot close or quit. Okay, let's save it. Okay, so basically if you see here, the return type is void. It has to be WebDriver. Okay, so we have to return it, right? So we'll just write here a return. Okay, so after that we can write get driver dot quit. Okay, so here we are actually giving one condition. If your driver is not equal to null, then what it will do, it will kill that WebDriver instance. Okay, that driver instance. And after that, what we can do here is we will write thread local dot remove. Okay, thread local dot remove. Okay, so the initialization part we have written. Okay, how to launch a browser, we have written it. Okay, so now what we can do is I'll create one config file. Okay, so basically what we can do is inside this, right, srcmn resources, I'll create one folder. Okay, so let's create one folder and I'll name it as configuration. Okay, and inside this configuration I'll create three properties file. Okay, so first properties file is config dot properties. Okay, config dot properties, and I'll create one more and I'll name it as en dot properties. So that is called as your English. Okay, en dot properties, and there will be one more and I'll name it as French dot properties. Okay, fr dot properties. Okay, so in the config dot properties I'll write something like language. Okay, so it has to be either French or English. Okay, but the thing is that to read this properties file we have to create a class. Okay, to read this properties file like config.properties, fr.properties, sorry, it has to be here. Okay, not here. In the config.properties I'll write it. Okay, language.fr. Okay, so you can change it. You can change this to en or you can change this to fr. Okay, so to read all these properties file, config.properties or en.properties or fr.properties, we need a class file. Okay, so let's create a class file for that and I'll name it as properties reader. Okay, so these are all support class files, so that is the reason I am keeping all of them under utilities package. Okay, com.localization.utilities package. Okay, I'll name it as properties reader. Okay, so here what I will do, I'll create one object of properties class. Okay, so I'll just write here properties p is equal to new properties. Okay, and I'll import this properties class. After that I'll create few class variables like file is equal to null, and I'll just write file input stream is equal to null. Okay, I'll import all these classes, file class which comes from java.io, and file input stream which also comes from java.io package. Okay, after that I'll create one method like public, okay, properties, the return type is properties get config properties. Okay, get config properties. So I'll just write here file is equal to new file. Okay, so where our file is located, let me refactor this. Okay, I have to rename this class file name. Okay, refactor, rename, this has to be properties. Okay, properties reader. Finish it. Okay, so where our config.properties file is located, it is located inside configuration. Okay, so I'll just give the path. So dot src. Okay, so dot means your root project folder. Okay, localization test. Okay, after this we have to go to src main resources, then configuration folder. Src main resources, then configuration folder, and inside this folder we have config.properties file. Correct? After that I'll just write here file input stream is equal to new file input stream. Okay, and here I can give this reference variable of file class file. Okay, and import this file input stream. So it has to be input stream. Okay, input stream. Okay, after that you can just write p.load and you can give this variable input stream and you can return it, return p. Okay, but it will throw IO exception. Directly you can write throws IO exception. Okay, that's it, and you can import this exception. Okay, so this is for reading your config properties. Okay, now to read the values from en.properties and fr.properties, we have to create one more method. Okay, so same thing, I'll write it over here. Okay, so I'll name it as create get language properties. Okay, get language properties. Okay, so what we can do here is I'll create one if condition. Okay, so first I'll call this method. Okay, get config properties. Okay, get. Okay, after that I can write get config properties dot get property. Okay, so what is the property? Language, right? Language dot get property language dot equals if it is French. Okay, so what it will do? It will consider this the fr properties file, right? So I'll just write here fr.properties. Okay, else it will consider your en.properties file. Okay, so let me make you understand. So what we are doing here is first we are calling this method get config properties. What it will do, it will read this config.properties. If you see, okay, we have this config.properties. So from here what it is going to do, it is going to fetch this language value. Okay, fetch this language value. So now we are comparing, if the language value is French, then it will read fr.properties file. Okay, if the language value is en here, if it is en here, then what it will do, it will read your en.properties file. Okay, that's it. So now we are done with this class file as well, properties reader. Okay, so now what we have to do is I'll close all these classes, save it. Okay, so now we have to create one more class file to like the fetch the web element. Okay, here we are using like page object model, but here actually we cannot write @find by. Okay, because here the logic is different. Okay, so for that what we can do here is I'll create one more class file here, element utils. Okay, so I can create one class and I'll name it as element utils. Okay, So why we are creating this? So that we don't have to write different web elements for English and French. Okay, so we will write a single test case, or like we will write the test case for once, and the same test case we should run against both English and French language. Okay, so for that what I can do here is I'll just create one method. So I'll just write here public, okay, void get web element, okay, get web element, and here I'll pass properties p, okay, string object type and string object name. Okay, so what is object type? We have different locators available in Selenium, right? We have ID, XPath, link text, partial link text, class name, tag name, name. Okay, so all these are our object types. Okay, and object name is something we will get it from the properties file. Okay, and properties also we will send it as a parameter. Okay, so here I'll create um, one more method. Okay, I'll create one more method and I'll name it as let it be private, because we are going to call this method from this class file only. So the okay, so basically here the return type will be by. Okay, and here also the return type will be web element, not void. Okay, so because we are going to fetch the web element and we are going to return it. Okay, so here I'll name it as get object, and same thing only I'll write it over here. Okay, so here I will create one switch case. Okay, and I'll write object type to uppercase. Okay, so here we will create different what we can say case. Okay, so just write here case. If the case is say XPath or say ID, if the case is ID, then what it will do, I'll create something called as private, okay, private by object is equal to null. Okay, so I'll just write here object is equal to, okay, so by dot id, and I'll write here p dot get property and what object name. Okay, so object name we are going to get it from the property file. Okay, I have already told you, and I'll just write here break. Okay, after that I'll just write case XPath. Okay, same thing, so I'll just copy and paste it over here. Okay, and this time it has to be XPath. Okay, same for CSS. If you write here CSS, this has to be by dot CSS selector. Okay, after that you can just write link text, so it has to be link text. Okay, after that you can write partial link text. So for all the object types you can write it. Okay, partial link text. Okay, So we have something called as class name, tag name, okay, or or we have something called as name also, right? So we can just write name, okay, and it has to be name by dot name. After that we have something called as class name. Okay, so you can give your class name by dot class name, it will return. Okay, class name n has to be capital. Okay, and there will be one more that is called as tag name. Tag name. Okay, and you can just write here tag name. Okay, so there will be something called as default. What? Okay, so here I'll print something like incorrect object type. Okay, and I'll print that object type. Okay, so if you enter any wrong object type, so you will get to know, the user will get to know. Okay, and at last we can return object. Okay, so let me do the indentation and save it. Okay, okay, so now what is the problem here? It is saying change project, that is fine. So here actually we have to give colon. Okay, so I have put semicolon by mistake, so here we have to give colon. Okay, and here I can call this method a get object, and I can return it. Okay, so I can return it, return get object. So return, you can write driver factory dot get driver dot get object. Okay, here get get object. I can find element get object. Okay, and here you can pass the values. Okay, like p object type and object name. That's it. Okay, so it is returning web element driver factory dot get. Okay, so just save this one, and we have to import this web element. That's it. So what we can do here is go to build path, add libraries, JRE system libraries, finish it. Okay, so we are done. So if you get error here, what you can do is you can just change your JRE. Okay, so right click over here, go to properties or go to build path. Okay, add libraries, and here actually you can add your library. Okay, JRE library. Click on next, and you can just select your JDK. Okay, the installed Java. Okay, so you can select it and click on finish so that it will go away. Okay, so we are done now. Okay, so get object we have written, and we have also written get web element. So now what is the next step? So the next step is to create page here. Okay, so I'll just go here and create one class called as Google page. Okay, Google page. So here actually I'll create one method called as public void get okay, so basically if you see, if I go to Google, right, so for French actually I have to click here. Okay, this link. Okay, so this is something called as change to French link. Okay, so I'll just write here get change to French link. Okay, so as I said here actually we cannot use space factory where actually we were writing at the rate find by. Okay, for finding web elements. Okay, so we cannot follow that pattern. So here actually the logic has to be different. Okay, so here what we can do here, so I can just write I'll create one object of element utils class, element utils. Okay, so I'll just write element is equal to new element utils. Correct? Element utils, element is equal new element utils, and I'll import this class. So here I'll just write element dot get web element. Okay, so again here actually we need properties. Okay, as I said object type and object name. So what is the properties here? So for that we have to create one object of properties reader. Properties reader is equal to new properties reader. New properties reader. Okay, so I'll import this properties reader class. Okay, so here actually you have to give reader dot get language properties, right? Because first here we need to know what is the language. So based on that it is going to fetch the object name. Okay, from the respective properties file. Okay, and here we have to provide, see, like suppose if I have to click here, first I have to inspect it. Okay, if I have to inspect it, so it is a link if you see. Okay, so I can write expert like this, right? So Control F, I can write A, and its text value is this. Okay, so this is the one, right? So this is my XPath. So what I can do is I'll go to fr.properties file, and here I'll write lnk, that means link, change to French, and I'll specify the XPath over here. Okay, this has to be changed to French. So we have written our XPath over here. After that, what I can do here is, here I have to provide what kind of object it is. Okay, so for that what we can do here is we will create one class file here, constant. Okay, constants. Okay, so that there will be no mistake. Okay, so I'll just write here public static public static final. Okay, so I'll just write here string xpath is equal to xpath. Okay, so why I am creating constant variable, so that there will be no mistake while entering the object type. Okay, so directly we can take it from the constants.java file. Okay, so for id it will be id. Okay, so for link text, okay, it will be link space text. Okay, so for partial link text, okay, it will be partial space link space text, because while entering the user may uh, miss a space, okay, or the user may do spelling mistake, right? So that is the reason it's better to take it from the constants .java file. Okay, after that I can give here name. Okay, so it has to be name. Okay, so you can create it for class name also. Okay, so let's give it like class name. Okay, so here it has to be class name. Okay, and we have something called as a tag name. Okay, this has to be tag space name, right? So I'll go here and here I'll write here constants dot xpath, because that is xpath. Okay, and what is the object name? What is the object name? Object name is this. Okay, link change to French. That's it. Okay, so this is how you have to write your web element. Okay, so instead of writing @find by, so you have to write it. So this will throw exception, I guess, IO exception. Yeah. So this is how you have to write your all web elements. Okay. So for example, if I go here, suppose I click on this French. Okay. After that, suppose I want to verify these two buttons. Okay. If you see, uh, the values are getting changed. Right. So what I can do is, again I'll inspect these two buttons. Okay. So let's see, if you see, it has this area label. Okay. So what I can do here is, uh, I'll take this one. Okay, and I'll give here, and instead of text I'll just give here, okay, @area label, and the tag name is input. Okay, but we here we have two matching nodes. Okay, so basically what we can do is we have to make it unique. So let's do one thing. Let me inspect this one. So it is Q. Okay, this is also input, and this is a text area. So I'll just write here text area. Okay, @name is equal to Q. Right. I hope this is unique. Okay. So from here I can write ancestor div. Okay, so we can take this one 4. Okay, after that I'll just write here descendant. Then I can write this one input. Okay, and here I can put 2, so that we have got one matching node. Okay, so if you want to know like how can we write XPath in an efficient way, we have created different video for that. Okay, so you can find that video in my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll go to this properties file, and I'll write something like btn underscore Google search. Okay, so this is the Google search button, right? Okay, and same here also. So this is the name, like feeling lucky. Okay, so I'll take this value over here, not this one, right? So here we have a, what we can say, apostrophe. So for that I can write contents. Okay, so here I'll write contents at the red area level, remove this equal to symbol and just write the partial text over here. Okay, we have got, take this value. Okay, you can write here btn underscore feeling lucky is equal to this. Okay, so you can write the same objects in the English also, but here the value has to be different. Okay, so I go to en.properties. Okay, so instead of this one, we will write Google search. Okay, because if I change the language to English, so if you see the text value has also changed. Okay, so it is Google search. So take this value, okay, and just change it here. This is Google search, and the next one is feeling lucky. Okay, I'm taking from here to here. Partial text. Okay, and paste it over here. That's it. This is for English and that is for French. Okay, so for that also we can create two methods. Okay, so we can write get Google search button. Okay, so we can just write here Google search button, and here we can write feeling lucky button. Get feeling lucky button. Okay, so here we just have to change the object name. Okay, so what is the object name? If you see, the object name is Google search. Take this one and just paste it over here. Okay, and there is one more, feeling lucky. Okay, Control C and you do here Control V. Okay, so these are our three objects. So this is how you can find your web elements. Okay, you don't have to write @find by. Instead of that, you can create these methods. Okay, so now we are done with our page class file. So now the only thing is we have to create a test case. Okay, so for that what we can do is we will go here src test java. Okay, so here I'll create one package and I'll name it as com dot localization dot test cases. Okay, so here I'll create one class file and name it as Google test. Okay, Google test. Okay, and it will extends our driver factory class. Okay, I'll import this one. After this I'll create one method like public void. Okay, so the first test case is like verify. Okay, say I can write Google search button, verify Google search button. Okay, so for that what we have to do, First we have to launch the browser, right? So I'll just write here get driver. The browser is launched, okay, get driver dot get. Okay, so here we have to provide the URL. Okay, so this is my URL. I'll copy the URL from here and paste it over here. Okay, so here see, the thing is that first I have to check like what is the language value, because based on that I'll click English here, right, or say French here. Okay, so for that what we can do is I'll just create one object of properties reader here only. Properties reader, reader is equal to new properties reader. Okay, and I'll import this class. Okay, so here give an if condition. If reader dot get config property, get config properties dot get. Okay, if it is your fr, sorry, the language dot equals, if it is fr, so what it will do, it will click this link, right, change to, okay, change to French link. Okay, this has to be French. Okay, sorry for the spelling mistake. Change to French. Okay, so how we are going to call this method? We have to create one object of Google page, right? So what I can do here is I'll go to this class file and I'll create Google page. Google page is equal to new Google page. Okay, and import this class because it is defined, okay, in a different package. Okay, so with the help of Google page object I can just call that method dot get change to French link, then we have to click on it, click it. All right, so it will throw, what is the thing, okay, okay, sorry, this has to be web element as well, sorry. Okay, so this has to be return element, okay, web element. Okay, so now if you go to Google Test Java, Google page dot get config to link, just save it. Throw save exception. Okay. So once that is done, I can just write assert dot assert true. Okay, assert dot assert true, and we can call this save method Google page. Okay, dot get Google search button, right? Dot is displayed. That's it. So we are done with one test case. Okay, so I'll give @test annotation method over here. Okay, I'll import this @test annotation. So if you do mouse over, it will give you an option to import. Okay, so this has to be Google. Okay, let me just correct the spelling, Google page, and paste it over here. Okay, so in the same way we can create one more method also. for verifying that filling lucky button. Okay, so let me create one more method. So this time we will make it as verify filling lucky button. Okay, so here actually we have to call the method called as dot get filling lucky button. Okay, is displayed. So let's go and correct the spelling. Google search. Okay, Google search button. Okay, so we are done. Okay, so we are done with our test cases also. Now what we can do is we'll create a testng.xml file. How to create that? Right click on this particular class file, go to testng, then click on convert to testng. Okay, so I'll just name it as localization test, and I'll just write here localization test suite. Okay, you can leave it as it is, but for my convenience I have changed the name, the suite name and the test name. Okay, and just click on finish. Okay, but remember one thing, so we are passing go to source. Okay, so we are passing the browser, okay, as a parameter. Okay, so for that what I can do here is I'll write something like this parameter. Okay, just write parameter name is equal to browser, and what is its value? Value is equal to, suppose I'll give Chrome. Okay, Chrome. That's it. So we are done. Okay, so let me just walk you through again what we have done. Okay, so basically we have created these three properties file. Okay, config.properties, where we are mentioning the language. It has to be either French or English. Okay, and in the en.properties file and fr.properties file we have written our web objects or web elements. Okay, so for French it is different and for English it is different. Okay, so our intention is to write a single test case, and the single test case has to be run against both English and French language. Okay, so if I go to src main Java, okay, so here I have created this page google.page.java. Okay, here actually I have created all my web elements. Okay, so instead of @find by annotation, I have created these many methods. Okay, so these many methods will help fetch the web elements. Okay, based on the language, it will fetch the web element. Okay, and these are all my support files. Okay, so browser factory is to decide on which browser you are going to test your application. Okay, and driver factory we have created this for parallel test. Okay, with the help of thread local, and element utils obviously we have created to fetch our web element. Okay, so here I have created two methods like get web element and get object. So one of the return types is web element and another one is by. Okay, and properties reader class is for reading the properties file. Okay, we have config.properties, we have fr.properties, and we have en.properties. Okay, and this is the test case. Okay, here we have written two test cases because we have two test methods, right? And all these test methods are independent. Okay, there is no dependency. So now if I run this, okay, so let's go to testng.xml file and I'll run it because now our language is French. Okay, let's see whether we are getting any issue or not. Okay. Yeah. So we have got the results. Okay. The two test cases passed. Okay. So this time we have executed, okay, using French language. Okay, we executed using French language. So now what I will do is we'll do one thing. I'll go to driver factory, sorry, browser factory. Okay, we'll try to maximize browser. Okay, so after this I'll just write driver dot manage dot delete all cookies, and driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. Okay, so this time what I can do is I'll go to fr.properties. Okay, not here. I'll go to config.properties, and we will just write en. The same set of test cases now I am going to execute against English language. Okay, so I'll go to testng.xml file. Again, I'll run it. Okay, so this time it will not click that French link. See, it is not clicking. Okay, so we got our test results. Let's again change it to French. Okay, I just want to show you. Okay, now if you see, now it is going to click on that French link. Okay, let's run it one more time. Run as one test ng suite. Okay, see, it has clicked. Again, it has clicked. Okay, so this is something called as localization testing. Okay, this is how we can do it using Selenium, and we have got our test results. Okay, so yeah, so we created these two test cases, and all these test cases passed. Okay, you can see the report here also. If you just refresh it, so we have got this test output, right? So you can open this one, index.html system editor. Okay, and you here you can see your report. Yeah. Okay, so this is your test, and we have two test methods. Okay, and there is one more report also, emailable report, that is also you can see here. Yeah, we have these two methods, right? Verify feeling lucky button and verify Google search button. So this is how you can perform localization testing using Selenium. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel to learn Selenium step by step. Thank you.